Have you ever looked at a grainy photo of a blurry shape in the woods, or a strange light in the night sky, and felt that sudden, electric jolt of what if? It's a human instinct as old as time. We are, by our very nature, storytelling animals. We live in a world that is often chaotic, unpredictable, and, let's be honest, a little bit scary. So, when the world doesn't make sense, our brains do something remarkable. They start connecting dots. Sometimes those dots form a beautiful picture of the truth, but other times, they draw a map to a place where shadows grow long and every coincidence is a clue. Today, we're peeling back the curtain on one of the most fascinating corners of human behavior, the psychology of the conspiracy theorist. We're not here to debunk specific theories or argue about who was on the grassy knoll. Instead, we're going to explore the why. Why do smart, capable people find themselves down the rabbit hole? What is the brain actually looking for when it rejects the official story? As it turns out, the answer isn't just about a lack of information, it's about a deeply human search for meaning, safety, and a sense of belonging in a world that often feels like it's spinning out of control. To understand the conspiracy mindset, we first have to understand how our brains are wired. Evolution didn't design us to be perfect scientists, it designed us to survive. Imagine our ancestors on the African savanna. If they heard a rustle in the tall grass, the person who assumed it was just the wind might be fine 9 times out of 10. But the 10th time? It was a leopard. The person who assumed it was a predator, even if they were wrong, stayed alive. We are the descendants of the paranoid. We are hardwired to see patterns in agency where there might just be randomness. Psychologists call this hypersensitive agency detection. It's the reason you think your computer is trying to annoy you or why you see faces in the clouds. In the world of a conspiracy theorist, this trait is turned up to 11. Nothing happens by accident, everything is intentional. This brings us to a concept called the proportionality bias. This is a mental shortcut where we believe that big events must have big causes. Think about the assassination of John F. Kennedy. It is psychologically distressing to think that a single, lone individual with a cheap rifle could change the course of world history in an instant. It feels wrong. It feels like there should be a massive, complex operation behind such a monumental tragedy. When the cause is small but the effect is huge, our brains experience a kind of cognitive itch that we desperately want to scratch. A conspiracy theory provides a big cause to match the big event, making the world feel a little more balanced, even if that balance is dark and sinister. But there's more to it than just pattern matching. Psychologists have identified 3 core needs that conspiracy theories satisfy: the epistemic, the existential, and the social. First, let's talk about the epistemic need. That's the desire for certainty and understanding. We hate I don't know. When a global pandemic hits or an economy crashes, the official explanation is often messy, boring, and full of caveats. A conspiracy theory, on the other hand, offers a neat, tidy narrative. It identifies a villain, explains the motive, and tells you exactly what's happening behind the scenes. It turns a chaotic mess into a scripted drama. For someone struggling to make sense of a confusing world, that clarity is addictive. It's a way of reclaiming a sense of intellectual control. Then, there's the existential need, the desire to feel safe and in control of one's environment. This might seem counterintuitive. Why would believing that a secret cabal runs the world make you feel safer? Well, think about the alternative. The alternative is that no one is in control. The alternative is that history is just a series of random accidents, natural disasters, and human errors. To many, the idea of a man behind the curtain, even an evil one, is more comforting than the idea that there is no curtain and no one is driving the bus. If there's a conspiracy, there's a plan. And if there's a plan, maybe it can be stopped or exposed. It gives the believer a sense of agency. They aren't just victims of fate, they are truth seekers fighting back. Finally, we have the social need. We all want to feel special, and we all want to belong. Believing in a conspiracy theory offers both. It provides a unique knowledge that the sheep or the masses don't have. It's an ego boost. I see what you don't. This creates a powerful sense of identity. But it also creates a community. Online forums, social media groups, and local meetups become a tribe for people who feel alienated by mainstream society. When you're part of the in-group that knows the truth, you're never alone. You have brothers and sisters in arms. This is why it's so hard to talk someone out of a conspiracy theory with just facts. You aren't just attacking an idea, you're attacking their sense of self and their entire social support system. As people dive deeper into these narratives, they often encounter the lonely hero trope. In their own story, the conspiracy theorist isn't just a person scrolling through the internet at 2 a.m. They are a protagonist in a grand, cinematic struggle between good and evil. This narrative arc is incredibly seductive. It transforms a mundane life into a mission of global importance. But it also leads to a self-sealing logic. If you try to present evidence that disproves the theory, the theorist might see you as either brainwashed by the system or, worse, a part of the cover-up itself. This makes the theory unfalsifiable. The absence of evidence becomes proof of how well the conspirators have hidden the truth, and the presence of counter-evidence is seen as disinformation. So, how does a person get started on this path? Often, it begins with a genuine grievance or a legitimate distrust of institutions. Let's be fair, history is full of real conspiracies. From the Tuskegee syphilis study to the MK Ultra experiments, governments and corporations have, at times, acted in secret against the public interest. When a person feels let down by the system, whether it's through economic hardship, a healthcare failure, or political corruption, that trust is shattered. Once trust is gone, the door is wide open. They start looking for alternative sources of information, and the digital age is more than happy to provide. Algorithms are the modern-day gasoline on the fire of conspiracy thinking. If you click on one video questioning a historical event, the algorithm notices. It says, "Oh, you like that? Here are 10 more just like it, but more extreme." Before you know it, your entire digital environment is a feedback loop. You stop seeing dissenting opinions. You stop seeing the middle ground. Your digital world becomes a mirror, reflecting your deepest fears and suspicions back at you, reinforced by thousands of other people who are seeing the exact same thing. This is what we call an echo chamber, and it's where skepticism turns into radicalization. But it's important to remember the human element here. There's a tendency to mock or dismiss conspiracy theorists as crazy, but that doesn't help anyone. In fact, it usually makes the problem worse. Shaming someone only pushes them further into their in-group and reinforces their belief that the outside world is hostile. Most people who fall into these traps are simply looking for a way to cope with anxiety and powerlessness. They are looking for a way to matter. If we want to build a bridge back to reality, we have to address those underlying needs. We have to create a society where people feel heard and where institutions are actually worthy of trust. We also have to teach digital literacy the ability to navigate the sea of information without drowning in the noise. We need to encourage intellectual humility, the understanding that we might be wrong and that the world is often more complex than a simple good versus evil narrative. As we wrap up this journey into the mind, take a moment to look at your own beliefs. We all have blind spots. We all have a little bit of that pattern-seeking ancestor living inside us. The goal isn't to stop asking questions. Questioning authority is healthy and necessary, but to make sure we're asking the right questions and looking for answers that are grounded in evidence, even when the truth is boring or uncomfortable. The world is a wild, beautiful, and often confusing place. We don't need a secret cabal to make it interesting. The reality of our shared human experience, with all its flaws and wonders, is more than enough. If you're interested in diving deeper into the ways our minds can play tricks on us, or if you're looking for ways to build more resilience and critical thinking in your own life, I've included some resources for you. Understanding the why is the first step toward finding our way back to the what. Links to recommended self-help books in the description, and if you like this content, drop a comment and subscribe.